Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Washington Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you've been following the Washington Commanders lately, you know the offseason has been anything but smooth sailing. It's been a roller coaster, with injuries piling up, roster moves, and questions about whether this team can finally take that next step toward real playoff contention. And today, we've got some breaking news that might just shake things up even further. It's about one of their key players, a guy who was expected to bring depth and experience to the offensive line, but now finds himself facing a devastating setback. That player is Lucas Niang. 2 days after their preseason opener against the New England Patriots, where the Commanders' offensive line already looked a bit thinner than expected, head coach Dan Quinn confirmed some tough news. Turns out that Niang, who joined Washington this offseason after 4 seasons with the Kansas City Chiefs, suffered a serious injury during that game. And that injury, folks, is a torn ACL. Just imagine that, a torn ACL for a 26-year-old player who was brought in to bolster the line to provide some much-needed depth. It's a huge blow, not just for Niang personally, but for the team as a whole. Niang, a former third-round pick, was expected to be a versatile piece in the puzzle. After opting out of the 2020 season because of COVID-19, he came back in 2021 and started 9 games for the Chiefs, appearing in 33 games overall. That kind of experience is invaluable, especially when you're trying to build continuity on the offensive line. The Commanders, of course, invested quite a bit in their offensive front this offseason, trading for Laremy Tunsil and drafting Josh Kennerly Jr., with the goal of solidifying that line. But Niang's role was expected to be more of a rotational piece, providing depth behind those starters. Now, with him out for the entire 2025 season, Washington loses a potential key backup, and that opens the door for players like Bobby Hart, Tyre Phillips, and Foster Sarell to step up and compete for that spot. And let's not forget, this isn't the first injury blow the Commanders have suffered on their offensive line. They've already lost veteran Nate Herbig, who shockingly decided to retire just months after signing with the team in free agency. It's a tough situation, and injuries have continued to plague them. Sam Cosmi is still recovering from a knee injury, and the team is hopeful he might return in time for Week 1, but that's still uncertain. Brandon Coleman is also dealing with a leg injury and has been missing practices. These issues paint a clear picture. The offensive line is still a work in progress, and the depth is being tested severely early in the season. But it's not only the offensive line that's facing hurdles. The team is also managing without their backup quarterback Marcus Mariota and starting wide receiver Noah Brown, both of whom are sidelined for now. These absences could impact the team's offensive rhythm early on, especially as they try to gel in the lead-up to the season opener. And speaking of receivers, the biggest loss on offense remains star wideout Terry McLaurin. However, unlike other players, McLaurin's absence is due to injury but a contract holdout. The team and McLaurin are still working through negotiations, and it's a situation that has fans on edge because his presence on the field is critical for their passing game to reach its potential. Now, when we look at the bigger picture, this injury to Niang underscores some of the ongoing challenges the Commanders face. Injuries, especially on the offensive line, have been a recurring theme for them in recent seasons. They've been trying to build a cohesive unit that can protect their quarterback and open running lanes, but setbacks keep getting in the way. It's a tough reality, but also an opportunity for other players to step up and prove their worth. The likes of Bobby Hart, who has NFL experience and familiarity with offensive line coach Bobby Johnson from their time with the New York Giants, could be key figures moving forward. And let's talk a little about the broader implications. The NFC East is highly competitive this year, with teams like the Eagles and Cowboys also making moves and bolstering their rosters. The Commanders need to be at their best, and injuries like Niang's could be a factor in their success or failure. But there's also a silver lining. This situation could motivate the remaining players to elevate their game, to show that they're ready to step into bigger roles. It's going to be interesting to see how the coaching staff adjusts their plans, how they manage the depth chart, and how quickly players like Foster Sarell or Tyre Phillips can make an impact. And if we zoom out a bit, you have to remember that the Commanders have been building a foundation for a potential resurgence. They've got a talented quarterback in Sam Howell, who's been showing flashes of brilliance in training camp, and a promising core of skill position players. The defense, led by some young and emerging talent, is also looking to make strides. But at the end of the day, football is a game of trenches, and injuries along the offensive line can have ripple effects across the entire team's performance. The management and coaching staff are undoubtedly aware of this. They're working tirelessly to patch things up, make adjustments, and keep the team competitive. Now, looking ahead, the question on everyone's mind is, how will the Commanders respond to this setback? Will other players seize the opportunity, filling the void left by Niang? Will we see new faces emerging during the roster battles in camp? And how will this impact their strategy heading into the season? It's clear that every game counts, especially early on, and injuries like this can sometimes define a season. But Washington fans are resilient, and if there's one thing we know, it's that this team has a never-say-die attitude. They've faced adversity before, and they've come back stronger each time. And now, Washington Commanders fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this injury to Lucas Niang? Do you think the team can overcome this hurdle and still make a deep playoff run? Are you optimistic about the depth options and how the coaching staff will handle the adversity? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the team. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Washington Commanders news. We're in this together, and with your support, we're going to keep bringing you the most comprehensive coverage of this incredible team. Thanks for watching, and as always, hail to the Commanders.